is a Farmall Cub tractor. They were manufactured by International Harvester between the late 1940s and mid 1970s. It was the smallest tractor that International Harvester made, and although over the years there were some aesthetic changes made to the model, it pretty much was unchanged to that whole run of manufacturing. They made about 250,000 of them during that time, and they were marketed towards small-scale farmers and small-scale general farmers, both for produce and crops and just general chores around the farm. As you look at the Cub from the front, you'll notice that the engine and transmission is all offset over center on the tractor wheelbase. And what this does is it gives the operator sitting here an unrestricted view of the center of the row. So imagine the tractor was straddling a row of crops and you were cultivating on either side. You'd be able to see what was going on down there without having to crane your neck over the back end. It allows you to make little adjustments while you're going down the row so you don't crush the crops as well. Offset tractors were popular back when cultivating was popular, but cultivating has been replaced commercially by the use of herbicides, synthetic herbicides. As we go back to more environmentally friendly ways of farming without herbicides, we're finding we have to go back to using the technology that was in use last week, left off that type of way of farming. This is a Ford 4000 tractor. It was built in 1965. It's a 3-cylinder gasoline motor, and it's rated about 45 horsepower. So, to give you a little bit of perspective on the size of it, you can see the implements for it are a little bit bigger than they are for what we have on the Cub. We'll look at the Cub ones up closer in a little bit. But the Ford 4000, again, we're talking about a tractor from the 1960s. Thinking about the economics of it, you'd buy one in this condition for about $5,000, okay? Whereas the Cubs behind you would be anywhere between maybe $1,500 and $2,000. Now, a more modern piece, like say this John Deere behind us, which with a diesel engine and 4-wheel drive, which is more power than you probably need, I think that rig cost him about $50,000. So when you're thinking about your farm startup, you may be tempted into getting something newer, but the reality is you got to sell a whole lot of tomatoes just to pay off that thing before you start making any money. So impressive machine, of course, all the comforts of the cab, and the loader's handy, but maybe not what you economically all that feasible for the small scale farmer. Oh, this is I think this is rated about 60 horsepower or so. When you look at you can't get too hung up on horsepower statistics when you're trying to buy a tractor, especially with the older ones. Like for the Cub instance, that was rated at 9 horsepower, but 9 horsepower back then was a little different than 9 horsepower now. You might say, oh, I've got a lawnmower that's 25 horsepower. You know, what can the Cub do? Well, back in the day, gasoline engines had reduced compression ratios, so the actual components in the motor needed to be larger and to get the horsepower out of them. Because the components were larger and there was more metal swinging around, they had more torque, right? More inertia once they got going. And even though it's rated at 9 horsepower, you'll see they designed a bunch of implements to be used with it, and as long as you stick to the correct size implement, you'll have no real problems doing what it was designed to do, the work of 2 horses in one day. Now, the Ford here has what's called a 3-point hitch. So does the John Deere. It's become the industry standard hitching device for most tractors. They call it a 3-point hitch because it attaches at 3 points to the implement. So you see there's these 2 lower lift arms and then the upper top link. The top link is adjustable, as is the lift arm, okay? And these sway chains keep your machine from running left or right. So the whole idea is most implements are designed to be run level. And it's important that whatever kind of way you hitch it up, whether it's with a 3-point or a fast hitch or with nuts and bolts, you have to be cognizant of how the machine is running in the ground and keeping it level and adjusted.